What's up, everybody? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, October 7th, 2018. Thanks for coming by. If you came over from the live stream, you know this video is solely for technical analysis, and we're going to talk about two things in this technical analysis video. Number one, we're going to be on that zoomed out chart on Bitcoin, talking about market cap real quick, and really just kind of setting some long-term mental goals and taking some long-term mental notes. And number two, we're really going to talk about possible breakout resistance. If we get a breakout in the short term, meaning the next day or so, where might we see some resistance? And we're going to really just cover those two things in this video. Going to make it nice, short, simple, and sweet for you. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Would love to have you as part of the channel. Let's jump in right now and talk about this. So you see we're on a pretty fairly zoomed out version of Bitcoin on the weekly chart going back to 2011. And first off, one thing I found interesting, every time I zoom out on this chart, is if you just look at these parabolic moves, right? These parabolic moves bring us into these new channels of consolidation. And it happens over and over again in Bitcoin. And it's just so obvious. And so I think with the stage that we're in right now in terms of cryptocurrency, the growth stage, right? We are still so early. Even though Bitcoin has been around for a good amount of time now, the space is still so early in terms of who's actually here, who's investing, and who's even using cryptocurrency. So in terms of this zoomed out chart, what I wanted to cover real quick is market cap, right? We all talk about that $1 trillion market cap for Bitcoin, not for cryptocurrency markets, but for Bitcoin. So based on today's supply of Bitcoin, that would leave us right up around here, $58,000 Bitcoin. Many people out there would agree that possibly in the next bull run, we're going to hit that $1 trillion market cap. And it really speaks nicely into the flow of this chart, right? So, not knowing when we'll get this next move up in a bull market, anything's possible. But assuming the flow of this chart continues, we'll get some type of similar parabolic move of some sort or bullish move, right? Into up through this next channel. And we'll be in a new channel for Bitcoin, right? Probably nothing crazy. And sorry, that's not the straightest line, but you get my drift. So the question is, when will that happen? That's the $1 million question that nobody knows. But really what's interesting is if you think about what the market cap is right now for Bitcoin, and you can look at it, it's $114 billion market cap. It is so low. And just to give you some perspective on that, here's a list. This is the list of the 100 largest companies in the world by market value in 2018. And I've gone to around the $100 billion mark just to give you some ideas of, what's valued at around $114 billion. So we have Royal Bank of Canada here. We have Adobe Systems, $119 billion, larger than Bitcoin. We have Walt Disney, 152, Comcast, 146. And to really help paint the picture, we can go back to, let's see, the front page, Apple, right? Apple, we all know Apple just basically hit $1 trillion market cap. So Bitcoin, when you go back to Bitcoin and you're like, okay, Bitcoin right now sitting at around $100 billion market cap, still so early, still so young when you're talking about a global currency, right? So time-wise, good to see the flow of this chart is looking really pretty beautiful on the zoomed out chart. Now let's really zoom in, because right now, obviously, we are in this crazy consolidation that's happened right here, and everybody's just on the edge of their seats, and it gets crazier every day. So let's start on the daily chart. So you may not have seen technical analysis video I did the other day, basically talking about this symmetrical triangle within Bitcoin, which extends back to like May. It's a pretty large symmetrical triangle, but we have a really nice forming bottom here in the triangle, and it's going to help us define the direction of Bitcoin. Meaning, if we get a break through here, down below the bottom trend line, that's going to speak pretty heavily, and it's going to speak pretty loudly into a possible drawn out bear market, possibly some capitulation, right? And possibly those prices, $5,000 and below, that some talk about in the markets. But I also want to talk about on the upside, right? And namely on the upside, I want to look at this smaller symmetrical triangle that you see within this large symmetrical triangle, because there's two things happening right now, in my opinion. We have this longer term consolidation in this orange triangle you see. And then on the short term, and we'll look at this on the 4 hour in a second, we have this continued consolidation within that as well. So it's kind of that first step towards a breakout either way. And we have two things happening. On this large orange triangle right here, we're 73% to the apex. Now, interestingly enough, if we go over and pivot to the pink triangle that's within the orange triangle, this is the 4 hour chart now, we're 79% to the apex in there. So going back to this daily chart, we're 79% to the apex in this pink triangle right here. And then we're 73% to the apex. And as you know, in these continuation patterns and these continuation triangles, that 75% to the apex is kind of that sweet spot. It's not that definite breakout area, but it's a sweet spot. It's the average breakout area of a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin in terms of actually finally making a move outside of its consolidation phase. So in my opinion, we're really close, obviously, to a breakout. So if we get a breakout, namely on the upside, what are we looking for? This is really what I wanted to talk about in this video. So the main thing I'm looking for is, first off, the Fibonacci from that previous swing high to swing low leaves us at the 786, right? First off, is right around $7,100. And then we have the 618 right here around $6,900. So that channel, if you're new to this channel and you haven't seen me talk about this before, that channel right here, the 618 to 786, is an incredibly important area of resistance as well as support for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as well as stocks. So that area of resistance is kind of that key area to look for, and we're so close to it right now. So if we get a break through the upside of this smaller triangle, right, and we actually approach the $6,900 area, this is when you can start really paying attention to Bitcoin. Because if Bitcoin breaks through this channel, really the last barrier of possible entry to the bear market or to the bull market is the top of this long-term channel or long-term upper trend line that Bitcoin has since May, right? That's the last area of resistance, and it's pretty confluent with the 200 EMA, another very strong area of resistance. So if Bitcoin can break through this Fibonacci channel of resistance and break through that last piece of resistance, that could be the catalyst to this next bull market that everybody's waiting for. And it really could signify the beginning of this trend that we want, which is this maybe parabolic move eventually, right? And just keep in mind that those moves don't come right away most often, right? Like if you look at, we had a great 2017, obviously, but you can just see it was a pretty out through this channel. It was a pretty slow growth, right? And then finally we had some nice, really sweet parabolic moves, really nice strong weeks a few times leading into 2018. So you can kind of maybe see a similar trend line, which is a kind of smooth one, right? That leads us up above 20,000 maybe by spring. And then just kind of same thing, just making our move to that next phase, that next channel, that next step of $1 trillion market cap for Bitcoin. But all to say, and I'm pivoting over to the weekly because it's all to say that it all wraps back around to right now in this little 4 hour symmetrical triangle that we're in. This could be the beginning of that long-term uptrend. It could be the beginning of this continuation that we want to see in Bitcoin in terms of Bitcoin rising, right? As it has over the years. So this little 4 hour chart, the symmetrical triangle, if you want to look at it on the short term, this is what I would recommend looking at. And obviously on this channel, on this triangle, that first area of resistance, the upper trend line, right now, as of today, is right around $6,600. So $6,600, it's like $100 away for Bitcoin. If we see some resistance there, I mean, you can bet that we'll probably maybe revisit the bottom of the triangle and then possibly break support there, but that's just something you have to prepare for. I'm not really going to talk about the downside in this video. I really want to just talk about the upside. There are two major steps to this happening. First, breaking through and out of this symmetrical triangle. A nice first step, get some momentum, break through that Fibonacci channel right there, and break through the upper trend line of the triangle. So that's kind of what I'm watching right now in terms of Bitcoin. I know it's very similar to a video I did a couple days ago on Bitcoin technical analysis, but I mean, what can I change about the technical analysis when we're trading so sideways? It's unbelievable. Just look at the last 3 days alone right there. Just crazy sideways, crazy consolidation. But I wanted to do this video anyway because it's Sunday. We're going into this week, and some really cool, interesting things to look out for. Be prepared either way because there is the possibility that we go down further. Just be prepared for that. Never spend more money you can afford to lose, obviously. This is all not financial advice. This is kind of just my outlook on the markets. But as always, zoom out. Even on this messy chart that I have right now, zoom out and you'll see the big picture. This is still so early. $1 trillion market cap. Here we come, in my opinion. Appreciate everybody coming by. If you like this video, give it a like. As always, I will see you in the next video, and God bless.